We have Autonomy Season 13 coming up in a couple weeks. And if you are living your dream, thriving at your job, your family's all, all squared away, everything's going good, you would still benefit from autonomy. You'd have a lot of fun, and that would be a nice, relaxing way to get this type of knowledge. Most people, they got too much to do, they don't have any time, they don't have enough money, and they're the ones who need the skills the most. Because the first scenario is a case where people are using these skills, they learn to make an offer more times to bring in more money than what they need. It greatly reduces the stress and fear and unknowns and ambiguity. Like, money doesn't fix everything. But if you don't know how to make your offer and go get more money than you need, your cortisol, your adrenal system, everything's stressed out from fear, and the unknown. This is the one area where you could start to mitigate that, because learning some methods and applying those methods and learning how to show up for yourself and all the other things that they could have taught us in an education, but we didn't get in the school indoctrination, we need to backfill. And we need to probably backfill quicker, sooner than later, because there's a huge opportunity cost to waiting years to get these skills between your ears. Now, 12 weeks a year, we get together. We have people from all over the world who are interested in either returning to the course and continuing to grow. So there's a whole bunch of graduates that go through every season, or new people who have just found out about autonomy and the fact that they might not even recognize the root causes. They just have a bunch of symptoms. Those symptoms are learned helplessness, extended adolescence, scarcity mentality, and not enough money in your bank account to start with. And those are all things that you can learn to control and control the levels of. And as you turn down your scarcity and your fear and you make room for creativity and opportunity and building your skills, your income and your offer to the market go up, because your utility, your usefulness of what you can do for others becomes higher value. Okay? So the people who say, I can't afford autonomy, you are the ones I created it for, and you're the ones who need it so you don't have that problem for the rest of your life. Okay? If I would have depended on my college education, I would have found that a cruel and unusual experience. And that's what a lot of people were stuck to. Luckily, I had enough foresight to see opportunity, to have enough courage to invest in myself, enough creativity to borrow the money, to buy into the franchise, where I learned some of the techniques and tactics and methods and strategies and principles I teach in autonomy. But that's not where all the material comes from. It's just where my initial success came from, in a 200x return on my investment from making a $5,000 investment into my education while I was in school, trying to pay for school. I learned how to run my own business, which by the time I went into the job world, into the corporate world, that's a super high value skill, knowing how to solve problems for big companies, and they pay you well for that. And I was so good at it that I found some flaws in their system and tried to bring it up and became a whistleblower. And it's at that point when these skills really saved my life. Because if I didn't have those skills, I would have had to compromise my integrity. I probably would have had to turn my head and cough, because I don't know how else to get money in this market. So I'm going to have to do some things that are a little shady. Luckily, I had the courage and bravery because I had the competence and confidence. I know how to go walk on my own. I don't need to compromise my integrity to keep my job. Unfortunately, a lot of people, all they do is know how to compromise their own and other people's integrity to submarine the person next to them, to give them a better chance at surviving. It's a very Darwinian way of looking at it. It's a survival of the fittest. It's very ruthless and cutthroat and sharks, swimming with sharks type of thing. And you can do better than that. You don't need that. But that's where most people find like their default, because they don't add skills on their own beyond what's easily offered at school and university. So if you are interested in making yourself more of who you can be and igniting your potential and directing it toward your goals and mapping your dreams into reality, then all you need to do is go to getautonomy.info, watch the videos on the page, go through the primer course, get your questions answered, talk to a graduate, and only then can you find out about options, because it's not for everybody. And the people who are excelling in the course are the people who make it through that through that process without making excuses for themselves, without quitting on themselves. Because if you can't do those two things, you're not ready to invest in yourself. You'll just disappoint yourself again. When you're ready to stop disappointing yourself and get your move on and up your mojo, then you go to getautonomy.info, and classes start in just a couple weeks. So opportunities knocking. Carpe diem. That's
Yep.
all I have to say about that.
Well,
Go
I,
ahead.
I want to add to that because I'm a season 8 graduate, and I at the time, so it was a couple years ago. So at the time I was going through it, I learned a lot of valuable things about how to bring my offer to the market because that's where I was at, right? I had just moved out to Tennessee and I was starting my own little handyman business, kind of by accident, right? I did it as a side hustle and it got so busy. I was like, holy crap. And then I started, so I was going through autonomy right at the exact same time. So I was gleaning all of these skills and just, vocabulary even for business, like business related acumen that I did not have anything of prior to that, right? Because I always just had a paycheck job. So I'm at the point, and that's the best thing about joining autonomy is that well, one of the good things about it, one of the best things is that you get to, once you're in, and you can go back and take it the next season, the next season, the next season. So now, fast forward 2 years from that point where I was at, I'm now at the point with the handyman stuff where I work closely with a guy. We pretty much do all our jobs together, and at the point now where I'm talking to him like we need to so we're at the scaling point now, right? Where it's like, there's no reason why we need to be doing all this work ourselves. We need to be subcontracting. We need to be having like a project lead, that sort of stuff, and then delegating these jobs out. And that will increase the amount of revenue and the jobs and all that stuff. So now I feel like I need to go back, take it again, at least review last season and I popped in a couple times last season, but like really dive in and look at it through the lens of okay, now I'm scaling a business. Went from just like rudimentary ground floor generating leads, how to bring my offer to market to now okay, how do you scale a business? So it's like as your path evolves, you can go back and pull, dip your bucket in the well again for a different context, right? So that's kind of where I'm at, and so yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah.
Well, it's fun to have people come back again and again because each time they come back, they're at a new place in life, having done new things with new problems in front of them, and they take the same curriculum and they apply it to different things.
Yeah.
So the curriculum's a general, your life is a specific. You keep taking the general rules and applying it to new specific situations. I also wanted to mention the student body is like 50% female, 50% male. In there, you might have some people who identify differently because, they do. But I'm just saying there's people from around the world. They don't all think the same, but they share a similar interest. They have a thirst for freedom. They have a disgust for the lies and hypocrisy and all the censorship and all the other things that take away freedom. And they're growing together in the light direction with the support and encouragement and a fear-free zone of understanding that is antithetical to indoctrination, right? All I did was take what schooling is and why school sucks, and you do the opposite because that's how they made education a turnoff in the first place. Americans had like a 92% or 98% literacy rate in this country during the time of the revolution. People were highly schooled, not schooled, educated enough to take in information without having to have a central place sponsored by tax dollars coming from the federal government. Those times don't exist right now because all those tax dollars over the past century have been misused in ways that have recently been validated. I did not think that the Department of Education was going to get dissolved probably in my lifetime. It was so entrenched and so part of the globalist agenda and all part of the international communism that they're trying to force everybody into. I didn't think it was going to go away, just like USAID. I didn't think they were going to unentrench that. So there are optimistic things being unfolded by the universe. There are individuals in the midst of those actions, but I think that what we're seeing is what the universe needs to see. It didn't create humanity to be long-term slaves to technology forever. But if we don't get over that hump of we better take more self-responsibility and stop using things we don't understand, we are going to end up in that situation. So I think the universe is a big classroom, and those who sign up for themselves to show up for themselves and grow their skills and their talents make the world a better place. I know that my friends that I hang out with and my friends that I work with have been emboldened in so many ways by these skills. Like as an example, the reason LD can be away for a month and traveling and getting all this training on being a truck driver and just adding to his skill set, right? There's just other skills he wants to pick up. He's encountered some major obstacles and challenges in trying to get that done that it's like high pressure, time sensitive. This isn't going to work. You got to be creative and overcome an obstacle and do this other thing that you didn't plan on. And he's had to do that many, many, many times in order to remain in integrity and do the things he said he was going to do. Had he not been working on himself for the past couple of years, it'd be crash and burn for most guys in that situation, because you might be able to show up for yourself, but if you've just been showing up for yourself to watch Netflix and play video games, you're not really bringing value to your other fellow human beings who you need to value you, because no man is an island, said John Donne back in the 1600s. You got to read back for that one. But the point is, self-reliance doesn't mean you're always alone. Self-reliance means you bring value to people wherever you go, because you know how to take care of yourself, so you can also probably help somebody else out. If my tire's flat and I can't change it, I'm sorry, brother, I can't help you out. But if I know how to change a tire, plug a tire, I got to fix a flat, I got a pump on my truck, I'm not only taking care of myself, but 9 times out of 10, I'm helping somebody else who wasn't so thoughtful for their future self at that time, and they left themselves unprepared. And that's one of the cardinal sins of being a man. You don't want to be unprepared yourself, or be unprepared around people who need something and you want to help. And you're like, oh, I wish I would have brought a tow rope. That'd be great right now. Didn't foresee this happening. You have to foresee things happening that don't actually have to manifest, but you have it just in case. Like a spare tire in your car and your Second Amendment on your hip or your waist, wherever you
Yeah.
decide.
Hey, that's a shirt. That's a shirt right there. Spare tire in the car, Second Amendment on the
Yeah.
hip. You
Why
know,
do
I
you
got another
carry a
one.
spare tire? Because something might impede your
Yeah.
trying to get to your goal. Same thing.
Yep.
Learn how to do it.
I got another one for you. So
What do you
actually, my
got?
landlord, big fan of the show, probably watching right now. Shout out. She said something so profound this week, and I wrote it down. I was like, oh, I got to tell Richard this. So here's a new slogan. There's nowhere to go but to learn. There you
There's
go.
nowhere to go but to learn. I'm gonna write that
I
down.
was
That
like,
could be a
that's
t-shirt.
good. That's good. So thank you. Thank you.